Well, hey guys, this is DK Spencer, and this is a Mercury Rise IntruBuster. So this is the same thing as the Defense Innovation X68 Pistelle. This is quite a popular launcher in the less lethal market right now. So I've had a few people asking me about different light and laser combos and optics. So first of all, I'm going to show you a couple of things by Vitatu, and stick around. I'm actually going to show you a light laser combo that's going to be a Picatinny or M-Lock rail mount. Not in this video because, well, it don't fit this, but anyway, stay tuned for that. Make sure to check out my channel, like and subscribe. I've got over 2,000 less lethal videos now. So lots of stuff out there for everybody. So the Vitatu stuff, I do have a discount code for those I will put in the description. This one is the PMD 504R, and I cannot say enough good about this. This is my favorite optic of this style. I love it. I absolutely love it. Probably the second favorite is going to be the Holosun HE407C. Love it. So there's not a lot of issues with any optic fitting this. Basically anything that's going to fit on a top rail is going to fit it. So I'm not going to go through a bunch of different stuff for the top because it's going to be just basically personal preference. But those would be my two favorites. This one's a little cheaper and a little more compact. This one is solar powered backup. Holosuns are great. I really like Holosuns for this kind of stuff. They're definitely tough enough. This one, there's some videos out there torture testing these. They're pretty doggone tough too. So again, I do have a discount code for any Vitatu products. So I'm going to show you a couple of those, but anything that fits on there on the top is going to be, you know, just personal preference. No, there's not a fitment problem on the top. But what we are going to look at is how some lights fit on the bottom and lasers. So this is a lot of times how I have mine set up. I've got a lot of accessories, so I switch mine up quite a bit. But this is a PL3R Valkyrie. So the R just means it's the rechargeable. Honestly, I like the ones that don't recharge, maybe even a little bit better, because you can carry batteries in your pocket and you don't have to carry an extra cord around with you. They do the magnetic charging thing, so it's not going to charge off of just a USB-C or anything like that. So you do have to make sure you have your charging cable with you. And, you know, if it goes dead, it takes time to charge. But anyway, the benefits of this one is that you do have a strobe. You do have to use both hands to activate the strobe because you have to push both buttons at the same time on either side. There are, I don't have it tightened down. There are, because I was playing with other stuff a minute ago. There are different brightness settings. You just get through those by clicking. I mean, Olight is good stuff. I use a lot of Olight stuff for the money. It's very good. So that's that one. I will put a link for everything I'm showing you in the description. So let me grab something else. I do want to say one thing about the PL3. So there's PL2s, PL3s. The PL2s do not adjust. The big difference between that and why I like the PL3s a lot better, especially on less lethal stuff. The older stuff fits most handguns great. But a lot of times your bottom rail on less lethal stuff is not going to necessarily be to spec. So it's good to have one of these. So didn't mean to cut it on. So you've actually got different notches, so you can actually snug it back against your trigger guard. And if the pick rail is not, you know, exact, it's not going to matter. You can, you know, adjust for that. So that's the difference in a 3 versus a 2. So there we go. And just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, this is a BullDot Pro R. So this is, you know, not an adjustable one. This is also Olight. I would not use this one on here because, as you can see, when it sits there and there's no way to adjust it back and forth, it's got quite a bit of a gap there. So not a real fan of that. Works great on a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff it doesn't. So okay, so this is an Olight PL Mini 2 Valkyrie. Now, the Minis do adjust, even though it's a 2. So they're made to adjust. So that part is great. They're, you know, it's a pretty good profile you get with that. I like those lights. The only downside to those, now the first one I showed you is just a light, no laser. This is also just a light, no laser. The downside to this, they don't have a strobe, but they are very compact. They fit well on pretty much anything. So you do have to use the Glock insert. So these have like the Glock insert or the bigger one. The Glock is going to be the one you have to use on the IntruBuster, just to let you know. But you can put it down to the end and do it like that if you want to be a weirdo. You can put it like that, which looks much better. But they're just very, very versatile. Good amount of light. Now, you guys can check the specs on all these as far as the power and everything goes. Just click on the link for the ad, and you can see all that. I'm going to try to make the video not ridiculously long. But anyway, let's see what's next. All right, next we got another Olight. Now, this is the Balder S. This is the BL version. So this actually has a laser and a light, still no strobe, unfortunately. But you select on the bottom. Now the reason it's a BL is that little guy right there. It's like an ultraviolet blue laser, and I love it. I typically carry this on one of my burners, but you can do it light, laser, just light, just laser. And it's got the exact same kind of setup as the last one, so you don't have to worry about it not fitting. Again, you'll use the Glock insert for that. But the switches work very well. I pushed it too far. The switches work very, very well with either hand. They're not easy to cut on accidentally. And again, Olight's good stuff, so that's definitely one of my favorites to use on burners. I don't use it much on this one. Sticks down a little lower than what I'd want on these, but you know, still nice, still nice. All right, so now we come to a big boy in the game, the Streamlight TLR1 HL. This is kind of an industry standard light. Excellent light, excellent. This one is not adjustable, but it happens to fit perfectly, so you don't have to worry about that anyway if you're putting it on one of these. This does have a strobe, and unlike the Olight, the strobe on this, you can actually cut on with one hand. So if you get good enough, you can actually leave it on. But anyway, so you tap it twice basically to cut the strobe on, or you can momentarily cut it on. You can use it with both hands or whatever you want to do. The best way to use the strobe is two-handed, but just so you know, you can activate it with one hand. All right, so these things are freaking bulletproof. They do, you know, stick out a little bit. They're a little bit bulkier than the other stuff, but they're also very bright, very high quality, very long battery life. So definitely something to consider. I love these lights. I use one on these some. I like them on other stuff maybe a little bit better, but I can't recommend these enough. These are awesome, awesome, awesome lights. You can even get a long gun kit for these with a pressure switch and mount them, you know, on the end of a rifle with a pressure switch to activate it. Awesome lights. All right, next we got the Vitatu GL2G. I think I said, no, G2LG. I thought I said that wrong. Again, discount code on these if you're interested. Very, very good light for these. I run this quite a bit on them. So these have an amazing strobe that you can also activate with one hand. It's a digital strobe, as you can see, so it's cycling through. It's really nice. Like it is a very disorienting strobe. With these, your laser is activated on the left side, your light on the right side, so you can cut them on individually. So you do have to have your, you know, left hand unless you want to reach through your trigger guard, which is, you know, you can do, and hit it with your fingernail. But you know, don't do that pointing it at anything because you might just shoot. But anyway, be hard to do with gloves probably, but you can do it. The strobe comes on just by double tapping on this side. Look at that guy. It's crazy. So anyway, Really, really bright. This one is rechargeable. Like the O-Lights, you have to have your separate cord, you know, with it. But yeah, there's that guy. Good light. And laser. By the way, on this one, and the build quality on these is really amazing for the price. They're impressive for the price. You can use the 1913 attachment. For this one, you don't have to use the Glock. It's going to be a little loose with the Glock. But this also adjusts. Now, it's just a piece of plastic that moves back and forth. Sorry about the focus. It's just a piece of plastic that moves back and forth. Dude. So it's not as perfect as like the O-Light adjustment, honestly. But it does work. It's got grooves that catch and everything. Just not as fancy. But, you know, there's that. So it is adjustable, so it'll fit pretty much anything. Okay, so next we've got the Nightcore NPL25G, and I've done a video. I've done individual videos on a lot of these lights. So this is a light with the green laser. It does not have a strobe. To change it between the modes, you turn it on and then push your, let's see here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you hold one in, push the other one, and you can cycle through just laser. So with this and the a lot of the other ones, if you just touch it and let it go, it'll stay on, so you don't have to leave your light on. Or if you hold it in and then when you let it go, so if you hold it more than like a second and let it go, it'll cut off, but if you just tap it, it'll stay on. And you can have light, laser, light, and laser. This one is adjustable. You have to push this button and slide it, so it is adjustable. So it fits pretty much everything. This one's kind of unique in that the battery actually comes out of it to charge, so you can get extra batteries and have one charging, and you know, like that. It does, you know, require a magnetic, you know, special charger. It's a magnetic charger, so you do have to carry a charger or extra battery or whatever, but it is nice that you can carry an extra battery for these. So there's that. Really good light. Little, I don't know, I'm not going to say it's bulky, but kind of boxy looking, but you know, I still like it. I think it's a fantastic light. And laser, yeah. Now, if you really want to go hard, and I would probably never do this, but if you really want to go hard, the UTG BullDot Laser. Now, unfortunately, the only way you can activate it is with a two-handed, or if you're left-handed. Be perfect if you're left-handed, because your finger would be right there. But anyway, so this throws a huge dot, and the farther away it gets, the bigger it gets. So this is something that, you know, in a lot of conditions that you couldn't even see another dot, you could see this one. But it is, you know, quite big, as you can see. It definitely adds to the profile of it and everything. But yeah, there you go. All right, guys, I'm gonna take my baby to Chuck E. Cheese for her first time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, all that jazz. All right, and just to show you, here is a PL3 Valkyrie that is not rechargeable. I think they look neater too. I definitely like the non-rechargeable ones. So yeah, there you go. And that's a freaking Western Sidewinder all decked out. Yeah. 169.477 joules, son. I'm going to do another video on this one soon. Yeah. Yeah.